Hello and welcome to this how-to video for parents. I'm Karen Kolp. I am a child development expert and a parent coach, and I do a lot of work over at WeTurnedOutOK.com, which is the website I created where my podcast is hosted and these videos as well. And today we're going to get into how to avoid toxic people. And this is really, there's two parts to this. The first part is how to avoid toxic people like ourselves. And the second part is how to not be a toxic person around our kids, like how to help them without kind of going into the balloon popper territory. And I do talk about these toxic people as balloon poppers, and I do believe that they reside in each of us. Like we've each got a little bit of an angel and a balloon popper inside of us. And so I want to help you figure out how to avoid the balloon poppers. So let's get started with that. So I think the first thing that I would say is it's really important to recognize that there is a balloon popper in front of you. And I don't think once you know what to look for, they're difficult to recognize. It can be hard to admit to yourself that your mother or your father or your spouse or your sister or, you know, a dear friend is a balloon popper, or at least is being one in this moment. But it's when they are doing something or communicating something to you that's incredibly negative. Like I talk about a person in my life who one time, without really knowing anything about the situation and understanding the research and the work that I had done to ensure I did not have a disease that they thought I had, they became convinced that I had this disease, and it's lupus. And I remember saying to this person, like, well, I've looked into that and I'm not worried about it. I don't think I have it. And this person said to me, you know, denial ain't just a river in Egypt. And I just thought I was going to go absolutely through the roof. I mean, talk about balloon popping. And so the first step is to recognize, oh, what I have in front of me is a balloon popper. And then the second part of this is to not engage. Instead, like, nothing you're going to say is going to convince this person to stop popping your balloon or anybody else's balloon until they come to it themselves and realize, oh, you know what, I could be a little bit more positive. We can't say that to them and help them know. So instead, what I suggest is that you just say, thank you for the information, and you move on with your life. You can take or leave whatever you want from this interaction. It doesn't have to reflect on you at all. And it helps because it defuses the situation in the sense of, like, you're not there. If, you know, there's this idea of we exist socially in like a vacuum. So we're sort of vacuum attached to other people. So if we move this way, they're going to move this way too. And if somebody is sort of pushing, you know, you need to recognize lupus as a big, huge problem, and you probably have it. And I can't believe you're not, you know, you're not doing anything about this. So what often happens is this person who's reacting to that will push back. And so that makes it, you know, it sort of makes everything go that way a little bit. But if this person's pushing, and you go, thank you for the information, they kind of fall down. They don't have any, there's no leverage. You're not giving them anything to chew on to keep going. And so you can basically say, well, thank you for the information, and then you can move away, right? And then the second part of this, because if you're watching, likely you are the parent of a child, if not like a young child, which is where I have my degree is in early childhood education. Well, my master's degree is in early childhood education, and my bachelor's is much more along the whole kind of human continuum from pre-birth through the end. But and then what comes after the end for, like, the relatives of that person. So basically pre-birth through death, dying, and bereavement is where my where my undergraduate is. Human development, family relations is what that's called. And so I also wanted to share some ideas for, like, how can we not be balloon poppers to our kids? And oftentimes we are very unwittingly balloon poppers. I've been myself, and, you know, I might be again, although I'm going to try really hard not to. And that's kind of what I'm helping with today. So the first thing that we need to do so that we're not going to be balloon poppers is think of some situations where that may happen. Like if you have a child who often it happens when they're doing something that we need them to stop doing, right? We just need them to go to sleep. We don't need to have them worrying about the monsters under the bed, or the scary things in the closet, or the ghosts outside, or whatever. We need them to take their bath, not be frightened about the bath water. We need them to eat instead of telling you that they don't want to eat what we've put out. And oftentimes what we'll do is we will be a balloon popper. We'll say, no, you're not really afraid of the dark. Come on, you're a big kid. You don't have to worry about that. Like, we'll try to kind of jolly them into not being frightened. And that's exactly, it seems so right. And as I say, I've done it myself. But it's the opposite of what we want to do. What really works, and if you think about it, if you're on the other side of that, if you put yourself in the position of you saying, I have a real fear of this, and somebody saying to you, oh, come on, no, you don't, grow up. You can understand how that might feel, right? So the best thing to do if that's happening if your child is expressing a worry or a fear, the best thing that you can do is you can validate it. You can say, I understand how you're feeling. And then you can say, do you have any ideas for how we can figure it out? Like, what should we do? And see what they come up with. That's one idea. Or you can say, I've had this idea, ... So for example, our youngest used to have a tremendous fear of the dark, of his closet, which he never knew what was going to come out of his closet. These were really frightening things for him. And what we tried to do was make him less afraid, not by telling him, don't be afraid of this, but by saying, I understand your fear, and let's do something about it. So what we ended up doing was I'm looking at the closet door right now where all this happened. We made signs that protected him. So, like pictures, images that we could put up, like that we drew, that we could put up on the doors of the closet to tell him to show him that he was protected. Nothing could get through there. The other thing we did was I took a bottle of perfectly normal water, a squirty bottle of water, and I drew on it a zombie with a circle with a line through it, and because he was afraid of zombies, and he could just squirt this mist in his room if he got frightened. And actually in the winter that really helped, because we live like in New England, it's pretty dry in the wintertime, so it was better for him to be able to squirt monster spray. But that's what we called it. We called it monster spray, and it was a way of validating his fears and helping him know, I understand your feelings. These are very legitimate things to worry about, and let's figure out what we can do about it. So that's really what I'm hoping that you will take away from this. I actually did an entire podcast episode on this particular topic. So this is kind of the condensed version, but if you want more of a long form discussion about toxic people and how to avoid them, the balloon poppers, you can go to weturnedoutok.com/260. That is right down in the notes below this video. And I hope you do, because I think, you could benefit from the kind of long form thinking and conversation. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. If you got something out of this video, I would appreciate it if you just hit the like button. If you can share it with a friend, or somebody that you think might get the benefit of like learning how to avoid toxic people and how to avoid being one. Not that you want to probably go and say that to them. Hey, you're a toxic person. Watch this video. That might not have the effect that you wish it would. But anyway, if you'd share it in your online groups that you belong to, parenting groups, or anywhere you can do that, is much, much appreciated. And subscribe to the channel, because I do these every week, every Thursday. And you can, if you're subscribed and you happen to be in YouTube, you'll get a notification. You might even get a notification if you're not actually in YouTube, although I don't know how all this technology stuff works. So anyway, all right, thank you so much for watching. I am Karen Kolp. I will see you next week. Bye.